This time I'd like to call to order this special joint session of the Planning and Zoning Commissions in regards to the Dutchtown Gardens Small Planned Unit Development. The records show that Mr. Julio Dumas and Mr. Mike Bardwell are absent. All other commissioners are present. This time we'll open up the floor for public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on any item on the agenda not up for public hearing, please come up, sign with the secretary, and you'll get your 3 minutes to speak. Okay, no one wishing to speak. This time we'll go ahead and we'll... Mr. Poche, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll let you make your presentation.
With SJB, representing the developer of Dutchtown Gardens Small Plan Unit Development. This was looked at and approved a month and a half or 2 months ago, and we had requested an increase in the amount of commercial square footage that we were asking for. There was a mistake made. The Parish Council recommended sending it back down to you folks so you could review, and we are here to answer any questions that you have about this development and clarify any issues. And we ask for you to approve an additional square footage amount of 35,000 square feet as opposed to the original 17,000 that was originally asked for. We did this so as not to limit the developer as to the types of uses that he could have for his commercial property.
Comments or questions from commissioners? Now, if there are no comments or questions from commissioners, I've got one, and this goes to our ERA. Mr. Sanji, y'all had the opportunity to review all of this information, and I mean, I see, there are some comments here, but give me your thoughts on it as far as the commercial and
well, regarding drainage, we were pretty well assuming it was a heavy commercial from the beginning, so I don't think that the change of land use is going to make that much difference, and we did not ask them to resubmit or reanalyze the drainage. I do think that the traffic was updated, and the only to kind of boil it all down, the only comment that we're noting is that they are assuming that there are some public funds to improve the whole interchange there at 73-621, that they are counting on those conditions being improved in their traffic study. They're assuming that those improvements will occur.
Right.
So, and I'm not sure if that, frankly, I'm not sure if that was brought to light in the original study or not.
The first time that was brought up, I think, was in the second workshop, and it was discussed, and since it had already gotten to the point where the contract was going to be let and it had been approved by DOTD, it looked like it was a pretty sure thing that it was going to happen, so we based our study on that assumption, and it was discussed.
And we have a couple other comments about the timing of the construction and also the DOTD approval of their driveway connection.
Connection to 73?
That's correct. DOTD generally does not like your turn radius to project out across an adjoining property owner. So that's something that they would have to work out with DOTD.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of construction drawings right now, and that issue has been addressed, and it no longer goes north of the property line where it stands.
So you've got it contained within your property?
Yes.
And the turning radiuses are
correct,
acceptable to DOTD?
Yes.
Is there a turning lane off 73 into your property? Or is it just the apron?
No, just the apron, correct.
Left turn lane is continuous.
I thought it was just a nice turn lane. Coming from Mr.
Continuous in the middle. What, the additional commercial that you propose, where is it located? Help me
It's
out.
in the same, the concept and development plan have not changed. The only thing that changed was the request of the amount of commercial square footage that we were going to have on those pieces, on those lots.
It was the actual
those
building
lots.
construction, not the property was the same.
Yes,
the
the
acreage is
property
the
is
same.
all the same. It's
Okay,
just
it's just a matter of actual
footage.
amount of.
Right.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
So, I mean, does that mean that there's 18,000 square feet less green space or open area that's now going to
No, all the green space and open area was contained within the residential section of the development. Originally, we had never counted on those commercial areas for any of our green space.
Okay, so
So that wouldn't change.
how are we getting 18,000 square feet more commercial in the existing setup?
If you'll look, you've got, I think in your packet, you may have a set of possible drawings.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it's in yours. I believe, do y'all have,
Joel was supposed to have those. He had sent some proposed possibilities for commercial buildings and parking on those lots.
and forgive me if that councilman, I made the comment that I didn't think there was any way that you could get 35,000 square feet of commercial and meet the parking regulations.
That's what I was wondering.
One of them, in fact, if you'll see, you'll notice contains two-story office buildings of 17,500 apiece, and to achieve that, they're actually parking underneath the building.
Okay.
So I think we can safely assume that 35,000 is as much as you can get on that piece of property.
If approved tonight, can I assume that by the time it comes back to the commission that one of these 5 plans will be it?
That would be a question for the developer. I have no idea. It
Well,
depends
legal
on
counsel's saying it's going to have to be, and I kind of
Yeah.
agree with that because I don't want to, every time we meet, have to look at 5. Let's go ahead and get something set. Let's make a decision so we know what's going on. I mean, I do appreciate, you're showing me this, to have the 5 options, but a decision needs to be made so we know what the game plan is all through this process.
Well, we're asking for the consideration of 35,000 square feet. We may only use 17 or 15.
I understand what you're asking for, but like I said, next time it comes back in front of us, have one of these proposals picked out. That's all I'm saying.
The final approval needs to be there.
Right. Sure.
Other comments or questions from commissioners?
O'Neill, maybe you can answer this question for me before I ask it. There are some stipulations that were put out from the commission last time.
Yes.
Are we addressing those tonight?
He is asking for an additional, you can add the same stipulations into it. I think what he's doing is asking for a use change to allow more commercial.
I understand. But do these stipulations need to be addressed tonight, or do those wait until he comes back?
You can include them tonight in your approval, in your
That
recommendation.
they have to be addressed.
Right. The commission will make recommendations. They will not approve or disapprove. So we don't run into that
Okay.
issue again.
I have a question. If you go to the 2-story office buildings, would that affect the fire truck, which would in turn affect the till you turn around? Does anybody know? I don't know if that's. I don't know what the height requirement is.
I do not know.
Scott, you're the expert. Do you know?
Expert. No. No, I do not.
Are
know.
you asking if a bigger truck is required because of the two-story building?
Yes. Because the hook and ladder truck, is that what they called it?
Yeah.
I know it has a longer requirement. So if you go two-story, that may affect you going two-story.
Oh, I see.
You
what
follow
you're
me?
saying. Yeah. Yes, I can. I
Okay.
do not know. I cannot answer that.
Anyway.
Any other comments or questions? Does staff have any comments to make at this time?
I can't speak for the entire council, but what I understood from the meeting is that the council is simply looking for a recommendation from the Planning Commission as to whether or not 35,000 square feet is okay for a maximum.
Okay. So really all we are dealing with tonight is the issue of commercial space.
Right.
Okay. Comments or questions from commissioners?
I make a motion.
Let me open up the public hearing.
Quick draw, Grant. Quick draw,
I realize that you're enthusiastic, but let me go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to come up and speak on this item, please come up, sign in with the secretary, and you will get your 3 minutes to speak. You see, we had somebody that wants to speak.
You were almost going to be shot down, brother.
Afternoon, Zoning Commission. George Valentine, Chairman of the Council. Let me just reiterate what Mr. Marshall has said. One of the problems we did have with this, and why we sent it back to you, was the fact that we did get some discrepancies on the amount of commercial that they were asking on this spud. We wanted to make sure that the traffic studies that you guys looked at and that they presented to you was also sufficient for that, and that was our major concern. Was more with the traffic. The development itself is a very good development. It really only has 47 residents, single dwellings on 15 acres, which is really one house less than they really can put because it's actually 3 houses per acre. So the development of the commercial in front was more of our concern than the residents. So that was our concern. So if you guys are satisfied with the traffic study on that, and your consultant is, then we're satisfied.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, let's go back to the traffic. Mr. Sanji, they're showing on these sample plats, they're showing for anywhere from 80 parking spots to 175 parking spots. And even if they go the max, we don't think that's going to affect the traffic right there at this high school?
That's correct. I mean, the study accounts for the square footage of development and also the different times of day. You have really different times of day that the commercial loadings and residential loadings are occurring. So all that is accounted for in their study.
Okay.
It's a nice song.
Any other comments or questions from commissioners?
Enough said.
If there are no other comments or questions from commissioners, what is the wish of the commission?
Make a motion we approve.
Now make a motion, you make a motion that you recommend approval by the council, please.
What he said.
Do you,
He said.
and do you want to address the stipulations from the last time? Put that back in the motion too?
Mean 30 for the square footage?
No.
Yeah, I want to put that back, and I know what you're talking
So I have a motion to recommend approval. Now, remember, we are voting as separately. Planning Commission first, then Zoning Commission. So you're making a motion to recommend approval to the council with the previously approved, or with the stipulations as previously recommended.
Second.
Or condition. All right.
Does that motion need to include the total amount of square footage up to 35,000?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we're...
And the up to 35,000 square foot of
Max, right.
commercial. So I have a motion to approve with condition, or recommend approval with condition,
I second.
by Don Grant, seconded by Steve Barrow. Is there any opposition or discussion? Motion passes. Now, we're going to vote as the Zoning Commission. Don, do you want to go ahead and just make your same motion as previously stated?
Correct.
I have a motion to approve with condition by Don Grant. Or, I'm sorry.
That's why, hey, he's a lawyer. He gets paid for it. Just go with it.
I know. I have a motion to recommend approval with condition by Don Grant,
A second.
seconded by Paige Becknell. Is there any opposition or discussion?
With the same stipulation.
Well, as previously stated, would cover that. So, motion passes. Hey, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Scott Courtwright.
Second.
Oh, if it seconded by Alan Krause. Any opposition or discussion? Motion passes.